added?
We should.
Maybe you can just kind of do it under his breath. You'd be like Richard Dixon and Valerie Vining and Steve West.
You can barely hear that.
I'll let you two take care of that.
It's all right. Make that happen. It's 6:06. Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, Talk995.com. Cinco de Mayhem is upon us.
Mayhem?
Cinco de Mayhem.
It's mayhem?
Cinco de Mayo.
Mayhem.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. It's the 5th of May. You know, we actually celebrate much harder in this country than they do in Mexico. This is what they would call a kind of third-tier holiday down there. And what it really comes down to is you had Napoleon, not the Napoleon that we all know and love, but a different Napoleon from the French come attack Mexico with the intention of invading and taking over. And the Mexicans managed to fend them off.
Right. 1862.
Yeah. So in other words, this is kind of a Jewish holiday. They tried to kill us. We're still here. Let's drink. As opposed to let's eat.
The Battle of Puebla. In 1862.
There you go.
When you raise a glass today during Cinco de Mayo and you got that margarita, you say, to the Battle of Pueblo, 1862, and you will impress all of your friends. Puebla.
Yeah.
Puebla. 1862, you will impress all of your friends.
Which is interesting how much you're paying for that margarita today as well.
1862.
It's
the battle
it's a big one, and it's a little costly. So enjoy
salt
that.
on the rim or no salt?
Absolutely salt.
Oh, yeah, I love the salt, too.
Yeah, I gotta have
you
the
can't
salt.
do too many glasses of that because then you get all dried out.
Too much tequila. And to be, it's so sweet. Margaritas are just, as I've gotten older, they become sweeter and sweeter, and I'm just like,
you're doing it wrong. You need to tell them more tequila, less of that sweet stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll tell them
more
that.
tequila.
I'll tell them that.
Yeah. Three-quarters tequila and just a splash of that sweet stuff.
Well, that ought to work.
Kind of cut it just a little bit.
Sure. They'll be happy to set that drink up just the way I ask for.
You know who really does make, and he makes it specifically, the best margarita in town?
I'm going to guess that you're going to say Javier down at the Margarita.
Javier. If you let Javier do it.
Margarita Grill.
I haven't seen him in a long time. We really need to stop in and see him.
Pop
I
by.
love him.
Say,
but there was a time where he was like, let me make you one, Valerie. And I was like, oh. And it was very delicious. The master margarita maker.
Yeah. I like it.
Javier.
E-Tech Communications bringing you portions of today's show. Anywhere from 2 to 200 phones. You get your call forwarding, you get your virtual assistant, you're off the copper wire, your voice over internet protocol, you get great, fast service. A friend of mine told me, he uses E-Tech, he told me last week, he said, I woke up, went to work Sunday, he said, and my phones were not working. My phones at work were not working. So I called the man at E-Tech. I said, I need this taken care of. He said, within a half an hour, everything was operational. That's how fast and good. On a Sunday. He went into the office to take care of that. I love that. etech.cc to find out more. etech.cc. Rudy Giuliani, of course, was in intensive care. He was in the ICU. He was in really terrible shape following a trip to Paris. They're saying the respiratory problems of this 81-year-old former New York mayor date all the way back to 9/11, that he spent an awful lot of time on Ground Zero. That little paper mask he was wearing didn't do anything, surprise, surprise, and that he is suffering as much as any of the first responders who were down there, even though he wasn't actually lifting stuff and pushing stuff and doing whatever. He spent a good bit of time down there. He spent a good bit of time trying to steady America in the wake of 9/11 and reminding people that, we've been through tough times before. We're going to make it through this tough time, and trust and have faith in the system and God, and it'll all come through. And he was actually given his last rites yesterday.
Yikes. That's not good.
Before he rallied and came back.
Well, that's why when you hear that, you're like,
what?
Wait a minute.
He's now in critical but stable condition, but he was like at death's door. They gave him last rites, and apparently that's all it took for him to be like, nope, not leaving yet.
I'm going to fight a little harder here.
Stick around a while here, see what I can do. Now, this is a sad case because, Giuliani famously called out the mother-daughter team in Georgia who were pulling ballots out from under a table. They sued him for ridiculous amounts of money, just, hundreds of millions of dollars. The goal being to absolutely break him and take everything he had. And he ended up with what one would call a terrible judge in a terrible county with a terrible jury, and he ended up losing. Now, we all saw those cases come out from under the table. We all know about the claim of the water leak that shut all the counting down supposedly, and we know for a fact that there was no water leak.
There wasn't. That was a made-up story.
Exactly. I have no idea who Rudy Giuliani had as a lawyer or how he ended up in this position, but he lost that case and then lost on appeal as well. And I'm just like, interesting, because everything he said was true.
It is.
Everything he said was true. But apparently they sued him for defamation and won, and they basically broke him. They took everything the guy had. So I don't know how he's surviving now or what he's doing right now. He may have probably a pension or something from, being the mayor of New York City. But, getting involved in that entire scuffle was maybe not the best idea that he had at his age, that maybe he should have stayed out of the 2020 election process and just been like, you know what, Don, you handle this. I think I'll just stay over here and not tarnish my reputation. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You think, too, about, not just the first responders, but everyone involved with 9/11 following when the buildings were brought down.
Yeah.
The weeks and months after that. I mean, people that had to walk, maybe past that or through it or near it to get to their places of business and things like that. How affected are all these people with different lung diseases because of breathing some of that air?
There are people who drove up there with truckloads of water for first responders just because, we were in a position, everybody wanted to do something.
Yeah,
everybody
was
wanted
desperate to do something.
A part of the repair. Just hanging a flag up wasn't enough.
Well, the thing, too, was, you remember, like, that first 3, 4, 5 days, we just really believed, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just human nature to hang on to some kind of hope that we were going to find a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And when each day kept going by, and we were like, oh, my gosh, there's just, like, no one left.
Yeah, after day one, I was like, you're not going to find anybody.
You're not going to find anybody.
You're not going to find anybody. It's not going to happen. I realize that there's
that was heartbreaking.
Basements and sub-basements there, but you're not going to reach them. It's not going to happen. Also, for the first 4 or 5 days, remember, we kind of were all watching the skies. Like, we were all kind of like, is there another shoe? Is there another shoe that's going to drop? What's going on? What's going to happen here? And Rudy Giuliani, I think, was essential to help stabilize the country, as was George W. Bush at the time. But yeah, like these people that just drove. I mean, I know a guy who filled up a Metro rental truck with cases of water out of his own pocket. Okay, filled them up, drove up there, unloaded that water. Just because where can I park? I got a bunch of water for these guys, and they parked, and he was there for a few days, handing out water to anybody and everybody that came by. I haven't spoken with him lately, but he's as susceptible as this lung crap as anybody, and all he did was drive water up there,
Absolutely.
You're like, wow, okay. That's rough stuff anyway. Rudy Giuliani pulling it around. His doctor says, look, he's got 9 lives. He's doing much better today, and it looks like he may make a full recovery. Let's hope that is, in fact, the case. 81. Rudy Giuliani.
That's nothing to play around with at that age, to have any kind of lung issues. And again, what he's dealing with doesn't necessarily go away, but they may be able to get him, off that ventilator and a little bit more to a situation where he can get out of that hospital.
Oh, absolutely. You got to get upright. You cannot stay down like that. These people that ended up on ventilators during COVID, we're now beginning to find out was one of the worst things you could have done to them. And I lost a couple of friends that way. You're like, oh, geez, if only we had been a little more practiced and
known some of the things that we now know, unfortunately.
If we knew then what we know now. So a lot of these people in their late 70s and early 80s would still be alive today. Parrott Structural Services, ParrottSS.com, 668-2626. When your foundation starts to slip or slide, lean or sink or fail, Parrott Structural, the guys that you want to call, they'll be happy to come out and do the helical pier system to get your foundation back up where it needs to be, or use the grout pumping or the slab jacking or the soil stabilization or the wall tiebacks or whatever it is that you are called for, and it doesn't matter how big or small the job is. I watched him do a giant strip mall once with a helical pier system, which was very, very impressive and quite educational. The experience and the integrity you need with the guys at a price that you're not going to hate, okay? Life of the structure warranty, tough to beat. That is Parrott Structural Services, ParrottSS.com, 668-2626, licensed, bonded, insured, and E-Verify compliant. 620 Talk 99.5 Talk 99.5.com. Dixon and Vining. Billy Joel. Little indictment of the music industry there about how shallow it is. Shallow, I say.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
He wasn't happy with it.
He's not wrong.
He was correct.
Saw a video of him with his daughter Alexa Ray doing one of his songs the other day, and I thought, oh, she grew up pretty fast. I'm like, didn't see that coming.
Doesn't take long.
Well, I mean, Christy Brinkley's your mom. You're going to be pretty good looking for the most part. On the other hand, if Billy Joel's your dad, you might also look like you live at 20,000 feet. Those eyes just,
They're a little bulging.
a little creepy.
Yeah.
A little creepy. 620 with Dixon and Vining on Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Why don't we just go ahead and get started on this, shall we?
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Judge Zia Faruqi apologized to Cole Allen for being in a safe cell and 5-point restraint. The jailers and prosecutors said, look, this guy who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump, who ended up shooting one Secret Service agent who was fortunately wearing a vest with his buckshot, he said, I didn't expect to survive that night. And so we thought he might be suicidal. So we thought we'd make sure he couldn't have anything with which he could hurt himself, and that includes a Bible. Believe it or not, when people try to kill themselves, they get very inventive with the ways to do it, and this was one of them. So anyway, the judge was quite upset and said, look, well, you didn't even do it. January 6th people didn't get this kind of treatment. Okay, I don't know if you know this or not, but trying to kill the President of the United States, worse than going and having a little 3-hour riot at the Capitol.
Yeah. How embarrassing for this judge to make an apology to this individual, that tried to, the whole goal was to assassinate Donald Trump and members of the administration, right? Mm-hmm. You're in front of him and you're going to apologize to any conditions that he is? I mean, give me a break.
You could certainly order.
How far left is this judge?
You could certainly order that the conditions be changed. You could say, you're doing this wrong. This is not how you should be doing this. I want him out of the 5-point restraint. I want him to have that tablet so that he can access loved ones. I want him to start having visitors. All of that is going to happen. But you don't have to. Well, and Mr. Allen, we're so sorry that you've been in this.
That is not how you conduct yourself as a judge.
I wouldn't think so.
I just
seemed a little off to me.
Very off.
Seemed a little off.
Uh-huh.
The U.S. military is rejecting claims that Iran has struck a U.S. Navy vessel. In fact, they claim they sank a couple. And we're like,
you sank my battleship.
Nuh-uh.
No, you didn't.
Nuh-uh. No, you didn't. And they're like, yes, we did. We promise you we did. And we're going to attack anybody who has comes through the Straits of Hormuz. We're going to get you. And and the U.S. is like, we sent 2 U.S. flagged freighters through. That's done. Uh-huh. And then we got 2 other merchant ships through from other countries. No, you didn't. No, we did. We honestly did. Here they are. Remember, they were over there. Now they're over here. No, you didn't do that. I don't believe it. No. Anybody that comes through, we're going to attack you. Fine, please do.
There were several outlets yesterday that were following what Iran said, saying that 2 ships had been hit by, the military there, and the U.S. said, no, this is incorrect. This is fake news. I'm hoping that the left, the media over there on the left, the ABC, the NBC, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, are not listening to what Iran is saying right now, because you weren't getting factual information before, and you certainly aren't getting it now. So, listen to what the U.S. military is saying, what Pete Hegseth is saying, and others, and Raising Cane. They're going to tell you and shoot you straight about what's really happening over there. But Iran is going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. So just keep using that as your source when you print these stories or write these stories, because you're going to get the wrong information every single time.
Yeah, it's rather interesting. My brother, who was one of the guys who helped to train, interestingly, Kuwaiti soldiers, I want to say. It was in the wake of Operation, Desert Shield. Yeah. First Desert Shield, then Desert Storm. He wasn't part of either of those, but afterward, we sent over some trainers and whatnot. And he said, the truth ain't in these people. In the Middle East, they would go off and they would engage in whatever activity it was, whatever attack they were making or whatever little skirmish they were going to be involved in. And they would come back and you'd have one after another. Oh, I killed 6, I killed 8, I killed 14. And you go, that's amazing, because only 2 were killed.
Yeah.
And yet you killed 6, you killed 8, and you killed 14. That's 28 people you guys killed altogether. Where are they? There are only 2 casualties. You know, you don't know how to tell the truth, do you? No, they don't.
They don't.
It's the braggadocious. It's that hubris that they have. You know who they remind me of? Donald Trump. Anyway. Now what we do is we're not actually escorting ships through, because that'd be a moving target for sure, but you'd have to go and you'd have to be like next to each ship. And so what we've done is we've tried to set up a corridor where we are able to attack any Iranian that comes in to try to attack the ships that are in that area. It's about a 2-mile wide section, okay? And so we're setting up ships in such a way that they can get to and they can attack the Iranian ships that are trying to attack the merchant ships that are coming through. By doing this, you can allow multiple ships through the straits instead of trying to escort them through one at a time, which would just be a very slow, tedious process. There's literally hundreds of ships over there right now waiting to get through.
And again, when we look at the Strait of Hormuz, on a map, it looks very small. And I know it narrows down,
Right.
but it's much larger than it looks.
Right.
Think about the number of tankers that are going through there at the same time.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny. There's nothing. Iran has no military left at all.
No.
There's no military.
Well, and the more of these little boats they send out and the more of them we destroy, the less they have.
Right.
Because they've got a finite number of those. They have a finite number of drones. So they're going to send these drones over. We're going to bat them down. They're going to attack with these little fast boats, they call them, and we're going to kill those and take them out. And the people that are in them are going to drown because this is war. That's how that works. And eventually they're going to go, we don't have any more boats.
Right.
We're out of drones. I guess this is over then. We'll just go home now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And don't help them out, Russia and China.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Please don't provide anything more.
River Region minority Republicans are backing a redistricting special session that is going on even as we speak in the Alabama legislature. This RRMR is an area chapter of the Alabama Minority Republicans, an Alabama Republican Party affiliate, and they recently gave a full-throated endorsement of the state's upcoming efforts to redraw congressional lines. RMRR Chairman Cedric Coley said, let's be honest about what has been happening. For too long, some political interests, particularly the Democratic leaders, have attempted to engineer outcomes by carving districts along racial lines, assuming that doing so guarantees victory. That approach doesn't just weaken the integrity of our elections, it underestimates voters. It rests on the flawed belief that people of color will vote blindly without question or independent thought. Well said.
Yep. Insulting to some to believe that. It's like, no, I mean, we should be so far past this.
What we need,
and I'm glad the Supreme Court ruled the way that they did.
We need 7 districts of approximately equal size.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do, and there's no reason in the world. I mean, we clearly, intentionally, for as long as I have lived in Alabama, have been drawing these districts with race in mind. Now, just clear your mind of that. Shake it like an Etch-a-Sketch. Empty. Okay. Now,
clear.
Try again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Try again. Look at the map and go, how do we draw this and make 7 equal districts and not think for 1 second about race? And you might be surprised at the results.
Well, and I think the left would want you to look at it through the lens of race.
Of course they
which
do.
Is, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't this what we worked so hard?
Dr.
Thought Martin Luther King tried to move us in a direction where, we all live together in harmony and
that was what I was thinking.
And thrive.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was hoping for. Unfortunately, we're apparently not there because there are still folks out there who are protesting every
hanging on to it
step of the way.
It's like, wait a minute, this is not where we should be in 2026.
Mother's Day is rocketing toward us. It is this coming Sunday, and if you don't yet have a lovely piece of jewelry from Anthony and Company Jewelers for your mom, shame on you. Anthony and Company Jewelers can make something from scratch, design something from the ground up, or they can redesign a piece that you already have that needs to be started over again, or perhaps you'd be interested in just picking something from their huge selection that is low-priced, so low-priced, in fact, they can't afford to have a sale. You're going to find something just right for Mom. If you are able to bring in maybe a picture of your mom and show it to the guys there and say, this is what she likes to wear. Look at this. She's got these rings on and this pendant or this necklace, this, whatever. And then they can say, oh, we know exactly what she's going to want. She's going to love this. So stop by Anthony and Company Jewelers, 2080 Valleydale Road, next to Ragtime Cafe. or visit them online, AnthonyCoJewelers.com. Anthony and Company Jewelers. They are my selection. They should be yours, in business for better than 50 years. 6:30 our time. Dixon Dividing Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Lots of show to come. Stick around. I've got candy.
Don't get in the car. Don't get in the van. Don't do it.
Look, I lined the trunk with plastic for you to make it more comfortable. 6:35, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Tuesday with rain in the offing. Tomorrow night, about 8:35 is when it starts to creep. You notice I give it 8:35, 8:37 and 30 seconds is when it's going to start creeping into the northeastern corner of the state. And then, by about 11:30, we'll be full on, man.
Soaking rain tomorrow night.
And some lightning and thunder and possibly a little pop-up tornado.
Could be.
A little later.
Looking at the
some hail.
Some of the estimates of rain, we're looking at maybe 3 inches of rain in some areas. That's going to be a lot. Woo! So hopefully you guys
front yard's going to be flooded.
Yeah.
Front yard, not mine.
Might be a little flooded.
Neighbors will be.
I guess it kind of depends upon how it comes in. If it comes in slow and easy, if it comes blowing in and drops 3 inches of rain, we might have some flooding issues.
I'm confused. I thought it was a March that came in like a lion and left like a lamb, and instead we're in May already, and here comes the lion. Mm-hmm. What the hell? He's late.
Yeah. We could still use the rain, so bring it on. But just everybody get prepared because tomorrow night is going to be an absolute soaker. Soaker. All right, some of you right now in the vehicle making your way to where you need to go. Maybe it's dropping off kids at school. Maybe it's getting yourself to work. And currently you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I need a different vehicle. All right, so what's your path? What are you going to do with the current vehicle that you're in? Now, there's probably some value in that vehicle, and you can do your own homework, look it up, and kind of get an estimate as to what that is. But the great thing about working with Craig and the guys at Birmingham Broker is because they do this every single day, they can kind of, within seconds, research the same thing and give you a firm number about what the value of that car is and what they can get out of that vehicle when they sell it for you. It is a beautiful process, and I love the fact that Craig has worked with so many of our Talk 99.5 listeners to make this a seamless, easy process. And it's as simple as getting your truck or your SUV or your classic car that's sitting in the garage to him, downtown Birmingham, 2224 4th Avenue South. He needs to see the vehicle, the condition that it's in, the miles that are on the car. Does it need a little love? In other words, there are scratches and dents that need to be taken out. He can handle all of that. Then he lists it and finds the buyer and then gets you a check in your hand as quickly as possible so you can move on with life and get the next vehicle that you want to get. Birmingham Broker, that's where you want to go. Again, downtown 2224 4th Avenue South. Go online to bhambroker.com.
I say this, and I'm not the only one. Many, many, many people have said it. When someone tells you who they are, listen to them and believe them. When Democrats tell you what they believe in, pay attention. Pay attention, listen, and believe them. Rashida Tlaib has come up with a new unhoused Bill of Rights. Now, this thing has zero chance of passing in the House.
And once you hear it, you'll go, thank goodness.
Yeah. First thing that this resolution would do is require $168 billion in defense spending be redirected to, quote, end homelessness and grant rights to internet access and panhandling, end quote. Okay, I put the quotes around end homelessness because government is not the answer to end homelessness. It just isn't.
Nope.
Okay? That is something that's going to have to be handled by the private sector and by the homeless themselves, okay? Here's what she is calling for, the Unhoused Persons Bill of Rights. Unhoused.
Homeless Persons Bill of Rights.
Look, let's just call them what they are, bums, okay? The Bums Bill of Rights.
Took it right on down to the bottom.
I meant hobo. I apologize.
Hobo.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're to hobo.
Calls for government-led intervention to end homelessness over the next 3 years and introduces more than a dozen protections for homeless people. If passed, Tlaib's legislation would include freedom of movement for homeless people in public spaces, affordable housing, livable wages, universal health care, and panhandling. Under the resolution, homeless individuals would have the, quote, right to uninhabited access, end quote, to public parks, transportation facilities, sidewalks, buildings, restrooms, and other spaces, meaning they could legally set up camp in such spaces.
No, we pay for those. Our tax dollars pay for those spaces. They're not paying any taxes.
The homeless population would also be given the right to internet access and the necessary technology to achieve that.
Nope. There are shelters where you can go to get that. You
Yes.
don't need all of this technology to achieve it. What the heck? Come on.
With the resolution is non-binding, meaning it does not carry the force of law, Tlaib's recommendations indicate how the left could push for changes to homeless policy if Democrats retake power in Washington after
Help
the
us all.
2026 midterm.
God help us all.
It would grant the homeless population freedom from harassment by law enforcement, private businesses, property
Really?
owners, and housed
Harassment?
residents. Harassment.
Do we have police officers harassing homeless people?
Of course, that's
Are they
all they're
harassing
doing.
them?
They're just harassing them. Here's what I'm trying to figure out is what exactly is the goal here? First, I don't think that Rashida Tlaib is that interested in homeless people. I don't think she's like, oh, the poor homeless, we have to do something for them. Most of the time when you deal with the Democrats and bills like this, they're trying to achieve something else. This is a means to an end. Is she trying to get the homeless vote? I don't know.
No.
Is there such a thing as a homeless vote? I don't know.
I don't think they're paying any attention. Most of them are dealing with mental illness or a drug issue or an alcohol issue.
Oh, so then
So you think they're going to the polls and voting?
could it possibly
Tlaib?
be what is so frequently the case with Democrats, which is we're just trying to make this country worse. That's our goal, is to try to make this country a worse place for everybody to live. Look what they did in San Francisco.
Yeah.
They said, you know what? You have to steal $999 worth of stuff to make it actually be a crime. And so people began showing up with garbage bags and just sweeping armfuls of stuff into them and walking out the door, while shop owners stood by helplessly and said, there's nothing I can do. I can call the law. They're not even going to show up. There's no point here. What exactly did that achieve? It made San Francisco significantly worse.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to go there because it's awful.
No, they're coming up with things like vending machines that have Narcan and Works in them, so that you can get your needles to shoot
Once
up.
again, it's all enabling.
Yeah.
You're enabling
Exactly.
this terrible behavior.
Exactly.
Get them the help that they need with mental illness or addiction, and get them that help. Some will get the help, and some will say, nope, I don't want the help. I like living on the streets. Trust me, that is the case. That is absolutely the case. 771,000 homeless people in 2024. 771,000.
That's quite a
So
few.
what we want to do is to encourage that being homeless isn't a bad thing, and that you can sleep in the parks, and that you can do what you want, and police can't harass you.
Right.
And we're going to get you the technology that you need to what? To continue to live on the streets? Really? That's the goal? No.
Look, what do I say? You always get more of the behavior that you subsidize. You get more of the behavior that you tolerate. This is designed to do both of those things.
Absolutely.
By
it
saying
is.
police cannot harass the unhoused, then you are
The homeless.
tolerating it. And by making sure that they have internet access and access to food, and that they can stay in the park without being bothered, and that they have access to bathrooms, and shopkeepers and housed people cannot bother them, you are now subsidizing that. So you're both subsidizing and tolerating that behavior. This is, if you said, what I really want is to explode the homeless population of this country, this
That's
is
how
the
you
bill
do
that would do it.
Absolutely. It would.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
There's not a question about it. It's a supply-demand economics issue that you can see coming from a mile away if you have two brain cells to rub together
It's
for
the
one.
difference between Democrats and Republicans, right? Conservatives and liberals. Democrats and liberals will love this plan. They think this is a great plan.
Sure.
Conservatives say, as we've said before, you have two choices if you're homeless. Either get arrested and go on and go to jail, or you go get the necessary help that you need
Get some
to
treatment.
get off the drugs or to get help for your mental illness. Let's get you back on track, back on your feet, so you can be a productive citizen of this country.
We get those things. Look,
Those are your options. It really are. We're not playing this game anymore.
No.
To leave that this is insanity what she's wanting to do. And yes, it only encourages more people to live in a homeless encampment or anything else they want to, because they'll be left alone and they have all of these rights.
to sum it up in a way that you've heard multiple times in the past on this show, if you make it really hard to be homeless, there will be fewer homeless. It's just that simple. Make it hard to be homeless. Make it difficult. Make it unpleasant. This happened in Orlando. Guy by the name of Buddy Dyer, Democrat mayor, who said it's ridiculous. We have this big, beautiful park in the middle of the city with this giant fountain in the middle of a lake. It used to be a great place for families to gather. Every Sunday you could go there. There was Frisbee being played. There were people with their dogs. There was just families having picnics. And then the homeless started taking over. And then nobody went there anymore because they didn't want to step on a needle. They didn't want to deal with some bum panhandling. The park basically became a garbage dump. And so you know what he did? He went to the city council. He said, guys, we're going to make it real hard to be homeless in Orlando. We're going to make sure that there's blue spots on which you can panhandle. You can panhandle during these hours.
No.
If you're anywhere near a business, if you're taking up a doorway or if you're bothering anybody that's coming into or going out of a business, you're going to be arrested. You're going to be taken away. We can feed the homeless twice a year in this fenced-off area at the edge of the park. Any other homeless person in the park gets picked up, arrested, taken in for vagrancy. Guess what happened to the homeless problem?
They cleaned it up.
It vanished. Mm-hmm. It absolutely vanished. They didn't want to stand on the blue spots.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of the blue cities is they're all about this feel good and, let the homeless be here or there. Birmingham has like a 48-hour deal. Leave them alone. Don't touch them. What do you mean?
Crazy.
No,
Yeah.
Pick them up and get them where they need to go.
Right.
If they need help, get them the help that they need. There's a million resources in downtown Birmingham to get these people off the street. And many choose not, and I know that it sounds crazy, but Valerie's crazy. What do you mean they want to live on the street? Their mental health is keeping them. They're not taking the medicine that would help them. Secondly, if they have an addiction, they've got to get treatment for the addiction to quit being addicted to whatever the drugs or alcohol is to help them to function normally.
Yeah.
Don't enable any of this. And that's exactly what's happened. Blue city after blue city, we're seeing this all over the country. And Talib, you've lost it. You have really lost it.
Did she ever have it?
No. I mean, but this really, I mean, come on. You look into what it is that she wants to do, and you just have to shake your head. That's not a fix. You're going to make it worse.
Yeah. You are seeing exactly what the Democratic Party in this country believes in. Rashida Tlaib just made it abundantly clear. Now, if you're still a Democrat after hearing that, you might want to stop and rethink, just for a moment. Stop and rethink, is this the party that I really want to be a part of? Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Denson and Fuller, my insurance agents, local and independent. They will be more than happy to shop around, find you the absolute best premium and the best coverage, and then facilitate that whole process. If you have a problem, you simply contact Denson and Fuller. You simply say, I got myself a claim. What can you do for me? They do the battle for you, which is great. They also, by the way, they work with you all year round. You know, they don't just wait until it is renewal time before they look around and see if you can't find a better rate. They are constantly on the lookout for you, trying to make sure that you are getting the absolute best rate and the absolute best coverage at all times. They have done nothing but wonders for me, and I love them to death. DensonandFuller.com online, 414-1476. YouTube TV is something that we do sometimes when Steve pushes the button. YouTube.com/ is it real? Is
Real Talk 995 TV.
Is it slash or dash?
I don't think
It's just Real Talk 995 TV. That's
yeah, I don't think you have to put that in
one
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I
All
think
right.
if you put that in the search of YouTube,
There you go.
you'll run into it. Real Talk 995 TV.
I bring this up because yesterday we gave away the Jawbone Jam tickets using YouTube, and we might do it again today.
We might.
We might. I don't know.
Yeah, if you haven't gone there to find us, go ahead and do that here
Yeah.
in the next bit.
Absolutely.
So you'll be ready.
And you can find
know.
it right there on the app as well, because you can watch us on
Download the app. If you download the app, everything is there.
Everything.
The text message, the number, the phone number, the podcast,
Happiness,
the YouTube,
fortune,
the happiness, right?
faith, everything. It's all right there on the app. It's amazing
Yep.
how convenient it is. So there was a delay in a Southwest flight between Oakland and San Diego the other day because of one of the passengers. A 70-pound robot by the name of Bebop. Bebop the robot. 70-pound humanoid robot built for events and performances. This team is Dallas-based Elite Event Robotics, and they were traveling with the robot for work on Thursday on a Southwest flight from Oakland, California to San Diego. And because Bebop's case was too heavy to check under Southwest rules, the team bought him a seat. Once he was strapped in, then questions began to be asked, like, hey, what kind of battery does he have? How big is it?
You
We
don't want
need
it to
to
start a
take a look at what's
fire.
going on.
Right.
Yeah, they had to take that lithium battery out because it was too heavy. It exceeded the airline's maximum allowable size, so they took the robot's battery away, left the robot.
Poor thing. He
Yeah,
was dead for
dead,
the ride.
Dead. Absolutely.
Dead robot.
Horrible. And then they said, well, now we have to, we got to get the battery back from them. They're working with Southwest to get it back, but they're also having new batteries sent to Chicago to be able to fulfill the next event request. They're going to have batteries at like every
They need,
event,
you
'cause-
know what?
Yeah.
They need to ship these robots like they ship a bag golf clubs. You know, people do that. They're going to some, I don't know, resort where they want to play golf. You can, pre-ship your golf clubs, and then you don't have to lug them on the plane. I would think you're going to need to do this with a robot because there's too much going on there.
I don't know. I mean, you'd really hate for that to end up in the wrong place.
Well, yeah, of course you would.
The
but
robots all
look
like,
at the trouble that it's
Wait a minute.
caused.
Where am I? What am I doing here? I'm supposed to be in Dallas.
Oh,
I would like to sit next to the robot.
would you?
Yeah.
I think it'd be creepy.
That'd be fun. So tell me a
If
little
all of
about
a sudden, it doesn't have the battery in it, and it kind of
Well, now it's dead,
it does
yeah.
this, which it goes.
Yeah.
Kind of a one-sided conversation there. Then.
Yeah, right. Turns its head, and then it starts talking to you. I would freak.
Hey, baby, would you like to join the Mile High Club?
Excuse me, can I have another seat?
Creeping me out. The
Could
battery.
you show me the way to the bathroom?
What's with the robot? Help me.
I need another drink, please.
Which,
Just
what
one?
why is there no first class on this plane? I want answers. These humanoid robots are a little creepy. And so are the robot dogs. Have you ever seen those?
Yes, very creepy.
Those things are really, because they don't have heads.
No.
There's no head on the robot dog. I'm like, put a head on that dog.
Yeah, they need to. A face or something.
something.
A grin.
A happy-
little round thing with a grin.
I don't know, because the grin can sometimes be creepy.
Yeah,
That's
this
like
whole
just-
this story is
They
just
made 2
unbelievable.
horror movies out of it called Smile.
Yeah.
I think you would, probably need to give the airlines a huge heads up. Hey, I've got this robot. It weighs 70 pounds. It's got to go with me. How do we do this?
They're based in Dallas. They somehow got it to Oakland. How did they get that?
I
How did
don't
that happen?
know.
We don't. I need answers.
It was sitting in the co-pilot seat.
How do they get from
Could
Dallas
you imagine that?
That'll work.
to
Oh,
Oakland?
pilot, I've got this.
Yeah, well, it'd be like the automatic pilot, Otto, the
Exactly.
automatic pilot from
Jeez.
Airplane.
Pretty soon you won't need, any of the flight attendants. You could just use the robot to push the cart. What would you like to drink?
Yeah, until, of course, the roll arises, and then, there's that huge upheaval that happens
Yeah.
in every sci-fi movie where the
guess
robots
so.
have had enough,
And they take over.
and they decide to take over.
They start turning the carts over.
It's iRobot all over again.
Yeesh.
Where's Will Smith when you need him? Busy slapping Chris Rock, sadly. Yeah. Look, all of this stuff, and it's weird to me that we watched so much of this.
Growing up.
All of
Yeah.
these movies about, Skynet and whatnot, and AI, and how it, eventually becomes so smart that it's like, what do we need the humans
And
for?
We're in it.
They're
we're living
causing
it.
nothing but problems. Yeah. And here it is. We're looking at it right now. We've got robots that are being created. They're going to have AI. And you're going to start, infusing all of this technology into a humanoid-style robot that could beat your ass and never get tired.
Mm-hmm.
And you just look at it and go, why are we doing? What are we
We
thinking?
could take that robot on over to Iran and start using
Mhm.
armies of robots.
Well, that's not a
to
bad
take
idea.
care of things. Then we keep our humans safe.
So do you think, like, when the Iranians build their own robots, they're going to put, like, little headscarves on them, make them wear sandals and stuff, and be like, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar? No?
At least we know who's who, right? If
That's
they
true.
did that,
Yeah,
must wear sandals and a
that's right.
headdress of some sort.
Carry a scimitar.
Uh-huh.
We need you to have that on you at all times so that we're able to.
Sandals.
There will come a time, though, when I think, most of the fights that we have are going to be done robotically. We're
Yeah.
already doing a lot of it with unmanned drones, and now we're going to start doing it with, robots. And the next thing you know, all of the generals and all of the, the fat cats will not actually have to lift a finger to do anything. So our robots are better than your robots.
Yeah. Well, get on it. Technology is moving at light speed. We got to go.
I think we used to have like an entire show about that on Comedy Central, didn't we? Was it Robot Wars? Remember that?
BattleBots
Right,
or something.
BattleBots. Yes,
BattleBots.
BattleBots. That's what.
So basically, you're saying that whoever was best at Rock'em Sock'em Robots as a kid suddenly has
Oh.
the upper hand.
I
That's
like
right.
it. Yeah.
I loved Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
You knocked
That's
my
fun.
block off.
I love that. It's a lot of fun. Bring those back.
7 o'clock, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. The show only goes downhill from here. So, by God, keep listening. We want you to be here for the whole thing. We need witnesses. 545-9950. If you'd like to drop us a line, we'd love to hear from you. Coming up in our third hour, I should say, Catherine Robertson, who would be Attorney General. She is looking for the Republican nomination. We'll be chatting with her. She's going to be on the phone now? She's no longer going to be live and in person with us?
Yeah, she had something come up that she has to take care of in office.
Sure,
But she can join us.
fine.
We'll have her
Okay.
in another time.
All right, fine.